Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Rachel, and welcome to my September TBR video. I cannot believe that we are entering fall. That is insane to me. The year is coming to a close. This is the beginning of the end. It's really, really wild. I feel like summer went by so quickly, but I am excited for this transition into fall because I feel like I read more in the fall. I feel like there are just so many amazing fall themed books that give me autumnal vibes that I really want to pick up over the next few months. So September is the beginning of it. It's very, very exciting. I am traveling in the month of September, so I'm really going to try to help myself out with not picking super thick books to put on my TBR. I want to be able to complete my TBR as best I can, but there's also just so many amazing books that are coming out in the month of September, so it's going to be really hard to hold back because I think quite a few of those books are on the longer side. So let's first go through the books in September that are coming out that I'm really excited for. All right, number one, we have Alchemized by Sen Lin Yu. That comes out September 23rd. That is probably like the biggest release to me in the month of September. I am not going to be picking up Alchemized in September though, because I really want to read Manacled first. I did download Manacled off of AO3 before it was removed from that site, so I have it on my Kindle and I just really want to read it first. You don't have to, of course, but because I have it, I want to read it. I want to give it a shot. Should I put Manacled on my September TBR? That is like the antithesis to what I just said about picking short books for my TBR this month, because Manacled I think is like over 1,000 pages. So I don't know. Maybe I will pick up Manacled if I end up picking like the perfect prompt that Manacled would make so much sense for it and I can't think of any other book. Maybe I will put it on my TBR. I don't know, we'll see. But Alchemized is coming out. It's very, very exciting. I cannot wait to see everyone's reaction to it. I hope it is fantastic. I've heard Sen Lin Yu's writing is incredible, so I think it's going to be a really great book. So that is one book that I'm really looking forward to in September. Another book that I cannot wait to get my hands on is Every Spiral of Fate. That comes out September 30th. This is the fourth book in the This Woven Kingdom series by Tahereh Mafi. This is one of my favorite series of all time. I read the first three books months ago and I have been waiting for this fourth book. It is going to be so incredible. If the cover is any indication, I think we're in for a wild ride. I also believe that this is the second to last book in the series, so I'm very excited to see how we are going to barrel towards the end here, who our main character is going to end up with, how all of the characters are going to progress. It is just such a gorgeous, gorgeous series that I'm so obsessed with, so I cannot wait for Every Spiral of Fate to come out. We also have Wild Card by Elsie Silver. This comes out on September 9th. This is the final book in the Rose Hill series, and this is going to be a good book. I'm telling you right now. Number one, it's Elsie Silver. She's one of my favorite romance authors. But number two, the trope of this book is ex-boyfriend's dad. Exactly. I am so excited that Elsie is doing this trope. I love Elsie Silver's books, but I do feel like she does do a lot of the same tropes, just kind of like with different characters and different situations. However, she has never done an ex-boyfriend's dad romance, and I think it is going to be very fun. One of my favorite romances of all time is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and that was my introduction to ex-boyfriend's dad, and I did not know how I was going to feel about it, but let me tell you, after finishing that book, 5 stars, it was a beautiful romance, and I cannot wait to see Elsie Silver's take on it. So that's a book I'm really looking forward to. Okay, and then the only other September release that I have written down is Wild Reverence. This is by Rebecca Ross. This comes out September 2nd. I believe that this is kind of a prequel to Divine Rivals. We're following different characters. I think we're going way back in time, and I believe that this story kind of gives indications to how the world ended up the way that it did in Divine Rivals. I really love Divine Rivals. I think Rebecca Ross's writing is gorgeous, so I am very, very excited for Wild Reverence. So before I get into officially selecting my September TBR using my TBR jar, I did want to talk about one book that I know for sure I will be reading, and that is The Dawn of the Cursed Queen by Amber V. Nicole. This is book 3 in the Gods and Monsters series. I am doing a series read along of the Gods and Monsters series with my patrons. My Patreon is linked down below if you would like to join us. We are reading one book a month, doing a live show at the end of the month, and we are doing this in preparation for the 4th book, which is coming out in October, which is so crazy. That is so soon. I'm really looking forward to rereading this book. I love this series so much. So the first book on my September TBR is going to be a reread, and that is The Dawn of the Cursed Queen. All right. TBR jar time. I'm really, really excited. I ended up putting a bunch of new prompts in here. I was getting pretty low, so there's like a ton in here now, and I'm really excited to see what my first prompt is going to be. So for the month of September, my first TBR prompt will be read a book you've considered unhauling. Ooh, that is juicy. Okay, this is good. I need to read books that I've been putting off. Maybe books that I don't feel as interested in as I once did, maybe books I've considered getting rid of, but I do want to read them before I do officially get rid of them. So this is gonna take me a minute. Let me look through my shelves and find a book that I have considered unhauling, and we're gonna give it a shot in September. All right, my selection for read a book that you've considered unhauling. This is a book that I've owned for such a long time. And when I say like I've considered unhauling, it doesn't mean that I have like super negative feelings towards the book or anything. It's just like, wow, I picked that up years ago. I literally have not felt compelled to pick it up at all. Maybe I should just clear it off my shelves. Maybe I bought it at a time when I thought I'd be into it, but my tastes have changed. But this book has recently come back onto my radar because my beautiful friend Sahar visited me recently, and she was reading the second or third book in this trilogy, and she said it was really great, and I'm like, oh my god, I've had that book on my shelves forever. I haven't really felt compelled to pick it up, and she said you absolutely should. So thank you, Sahar, for putting this back onto my radar. So in September, I'm going to be reading Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. What I know about this is it is a YA fantasy. I know that there are dragons, and I believe that there is an academy setting. I have seen like minor comparisons to Fourth Wing, not so much in the storyline, but just kind of like general vibes, but more YA. I'm excited to read this. The way that Sahar spoke about it, it got me really excited. So I'm gonna give this a shot. I did go onto Goodreads and I saw a lot of people that I have similar taste to giving this a great rating. I'm excited to read this, and also it's not too long. All right, the second TBR prompt for September will be, let's see here. Read a book that is over 3 years old. Okay, so 3 years ago, this book needs to be published in 2022 or prior. So that really does give me a lot of options. I think I already know the book that I want to pick. It is short. It was published before 2022. It is a series I've been working on. I am sure you guys can guess what it's going to be. Let me grab it. A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. I am doing a reread of the ACOTAR series, and in the month of August, I put A Court of Wings and Ruin on my TBR, so it only makes sense to put A Court of Frost and Starlight on my TBR in September. Let's see when this was published. I know it was before 2022, but I just want to see. This was first published in 2018. Okay, perfect. So I'm very excited to be reading this book. This book gives major Christmas vibes, so reading it in September, I don't know, it's gonna get me just extra excited for the holidays, I guess. I really love this book. I have given it 5 stars in past reads. I hope I give it 5 stars again on a reread. I think it's just a very fun, cute, cozy book. And also, it is literally so short. Every single time I've read this book, I've read it in one sitting, so I'm really excited to revisit this book again. All right, TBR prompt number 3 for September is going to be a book that has "of" in the title. That is very open-ended. I feel like I was helping myself out with that one. Gosh, what are some books that I want to read in September that have the word "of" in them? Okay, I was looking through my shelves and I spotted a book that I just have not thought about in so long. I got this book quite a while ago. It does have the word "of" in the title, and I want to pick it up. I've heard really good things about this from people whose taste I trust implicitly. It is a little bit of an older book, and I don't see too many people talking about it, but I want to give it a shot and see what I think. It is A Heart of Blood and Ashes by Milla Vane. I believe this is a Viking fantasy romance, and I've heard it's amazing. I know that Erin from Booked and Busy and Tori from Novel Life both love it. I think they both said it's one of their favorite fantasy romances ever. I'm really excited to try this out. It's a cute little mass market paperback, and I hope that I love it as much as they did. All right, TBR jar prompt pick number 4 is going to be read a book that you've bought in the last 4 months. Okay, there's a book that I've been dying to read, and I was hoping I could fit it onto my TBR somehow, and I've definitely bought this book in the last 4 months, so let me go grab it. Silver Cloak by L.K. Stephen. I have been dying to read this book. I've heard incredible things about it. I have really, really high hopes. In this book, we are in a world where the magic system comes from pleasure and pain. I think that's so cool. I think that is so unique, and I've just heard wonderful things about the writing, about the storytelling, about the romance. Everything just sounds right up my alley. I'm really looking forward to this. I have read one other book by this author. Her other pen name is Laura Stephen, and she wrote Our Infinite Fates, which is a YA title. I did like that book. I wasn't obsessed, but I thought that the writing was gorgeous. So I know that I'm in for really great writing with Silver Cloak. I think that the plot of this book is just much more up my alley, so I cannot wait to try this out. All right, we are on to number 5. TBR jar prompt pick number 5 is a KU fantasy romance. All right, I have plenty of those. Where do I begin? Let me look through my Kindle app really quick. All right, some of the books that I have downloaded in my Kindle library right now: The Bond That Burns, that is the sequel to On Wings of Blood. I have Smoke and Scar. I have A Kingdom of Shadow and Ash. I have A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. Ooh, I think I want to read A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. I've been hearing really good things about that book. Let me see, how long is it? I'm also curious if there is an audiobook. Okay, this is 476 pages. That is not bad. There is an audiobook. Oh, okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to pick A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. This is a KU fantasy romance that I've seen people talking about. I've heard really great things about not only this book, but also the sequel. And I know that in this book, we're following a half fae. She has like a blood oath to the king. I believe she has to partake in some trials. I also want to say maybe there's a love triangle. I'm not sure, but it just sounded really good. And I've been very intrigued to start this. Okay, we're on to our final TBR jar prompt pick for the month of September. I actually kind of want to read Manacled now, so I'm going to see. Maybe I can get a prompt that I can make Manacled work. Read a book outside of your comfort zone. Can I make Manacled fit into that? I mean, I'm not the biggest fanfic reader. I've also heard this is a pretty dark book, and I'm not really a dark romance reader. But do I want to put a 1,000-page book onto my TBR when I am probably not going to read for like a week and a half to 2 weeks while I'm on vacation? Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna read Manacled in the month of September. I need to read it. I also am dying because I know The Alchemized is gonna be like really big and I'm gonna have so much FOMO and I'm gonna see so many people talking about it. So I need to read Manacled. It's a book that I've been wanting to read forever. If you don't know, this is a Dramini fanfic, and I believe there's also some inspiration from The Handmaid's Tale. I've heard it's very dark. I've heard it is very well written. I've heard it's extremely emotional. But you know what? I'm here for that. I feel like that's a good transition into fall type of book. At the beginning of this video, I was like, it'd be cool to read Manacled, but I probably shouldn't add that onto my TBR when I have such a busy month. But by the time we got to this final prompt, I was like, you know what? I want to read it because I'm going to want to read Alchemized. So we're gonna do it. Maybe I'll regret putting such a long book on my TBR, but you know what? We will just have to see what happens. All right, friends, here's my TBR for the month of September. So we have A Heart of Blood and Ash by Mila Vane. We have The Dawn of the Curse Queen by Amber V. Nicole. We have Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. We have A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. And then we have Silvercloak by L.K. Stephen. We also have A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly by Sophie St. Germain. And then Manacled by Sen Lin Yu. I think I am in for a really interesting month. I'm excited particularly about A Heart of Blood and Ashes and also Fireborn because they're just books that I truly have not given much thought to, and I've owned them for quite a while. So I think these will be really interesting reading experiences. I'm dying for Silvercloak. I have really, really big 5-star hopes for it. And Manacled. Manacled is gonna be really interesting. Let me know if you wanna see a vlog for Manacled. I think that could be really fun. I'm a little nervous to read it, but I'm excited. All right, friends, so that is going to be it for my September TBR. Please let me know, what are you reading in the month of September? What are you excited about that is coming out? What is the #1 book on your September TBR? Or if you made it to this point in the video and you wanted to let me know, let's just get fully into it. Let's leave an autumnal leaf emoji. Please make sure that you're following me on all of my social media. My TikTok, Instagram, and Goodreads are always linked down below. I also have my Patreon down below. That is where I host my book club, the Gods and Monsters series read along. We do reading sprints, live shows, bonus videos. It's a lot of fun over there. I really appreciate that you watched this video. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I love you all so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one.